Hey, what's up, iCkEdMeL? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. And you guys might remember this story. I wanted to give you an update with Carmesia Flannigan, 22 years old from Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, and Brandy Ballard, 52 years old, a grandmother that got killed in this car accident. Now, there was this whole street racing alleged incident which, by the way, there's witnesses to that. According to Sergeant Rod Maudlin, witnesses observed vehicles racing prior to the accident. And also, it was said that Carmesia's vehicle crossed over the center traffic lane, like that main one, the yellow thing. She crossed over onto Brandy Ballard's side. And so Brandy Ballard, she's a grandmother of 5. She worked as a home health care worker, and she's been described as the glue of her family and a godly woman, a heart of gold. She's been sober for 3 years, and she was active in the AA community, and she had a passion for helping people with those types of issues. So you guys know the whole story. If you're new to the story, I'll put the link down below if you haven't seen that video. It was crazy because this woman, she first of all, there was witnesses that said the vehicles were racing prior to the accident. Like I said, it was determined that one of the drivers who was reportedly racing left the scene of the accident. And so the big commotion, the kind of slap in the face, is that after this accident happens and she leaves the scene of the crime, I guess they found her and she was arrested, and she bonded out the following day on $175,000. Okay, for people that think it's hard to get out. Sometimes people, I don't know how they did it, but they find a way to come up with the money. And she goes online and she starts kind of taunting the family, blaming everything on Brandy and saying it was Brandy's fault and saying all this kind of crazy stuff online. And so she was on the run. All right, she was on the run for 2 weeks. You guys can see on the run for 2 weeks, and she was just rearrested. So on April 7th, she was rearrested in Georgia. After U.S. Marshals and Birmingham police had searched for 2 weeks. She was extradited to Alabama on April 13th and booked back into the Jefferson County Jail. This is her inmate inquiry right here. So this is where she was extradited, 413. And they have the charges here: burglary, murder, and failure to appear felony. And then this was the original booking date. And then she was released the next day, leaving the scene of an accident, possession of substances, and murder. And they have a picture of her here. Really big thing here. Yeah. To me, it's like it's almost like she has somewhat of a smirk in a way or something too, a little bit. Kind of, I don't know if it's just me seeing that, but it's almost like, kind of just like an evil person. Just even with everything and all that stuff happening, it's like you're rearrested, and it's like you have this kind of look on your face. Now, we're gonna look at the picture. I just want to tell you how dirty of a thing this was that she did. We're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to talk about the bond thing too, because how dirty that was, just in multiple ways. Like I would almost even say that it wasn't just this woman going online and doing all the crazy stuff she did, but it's almost like the justice system kind of spit in their face too. We're going to get to that. But so the accident happened just after 6 a.m. and she was on her way to work, and her car was struck. She was driving a 2007 Ford Focus, and her car was struck by a 2010 Chevrolet Camaro that crossed over the center lane. And so when this happens, the crash happened around 6:10 a.m., and Ballard was pronounced dead 4 minutes later. She was just 2 blocks from her home. I just think how crazy that is, right? 2 blocks from her home. And the defendant then fled the scene. The thing about that, you hear about people leaving the scene all the time. You hear it in the news all the time. I couldn't imagine. My normal reaction, human reaction, the part of me that has feelings, emotions that I can feel for somebody else. If I were to get into an accident, I would not be running. Or my thought would be, let me get the hell out of here. I mean, maybe because she had stuff in her car, I guess. I couldn't imagine being that type of person. Not even because the law says you're not supposed to leave. It's just the right thing to do. She literally left this woman to die. right? So not only does she flee the scene, then she makes a false report to police and law enforcement that her vehicle had been stolen and that the defendant was in Atlanta. The defendant was apprehended by law enforcement and her blood was drawn to be submitted to the forensic science. So she lies to the police, right? She flees the scene. She said it wasn't her. Says her car was stolen. This is what some of the pictures that I could find. I couldn't find many. I believe, I'm not sure. I'm not good with cars. I could be wrong. I believe this car here, the black one, might be the Camaro. What it kind of looks like. And the red one, I think, could be Brandy's car. And I don't know how she fled. Did she flee on foot? I mean, there's no way that car could have, you know, I guess she ran. I don't know exactly how. That's Brandy right there. Let me put up another closer picture. That's, I believe that's Brandy's car. I mean, totaled. Must have been going really fast. So just to give you an idea too of what kind of how horrific, like just crazy, just totaled type of car crash, and one person loses their life and the other one goes skipping away. And so from this, these people literally thought, okay, let's give her a bond, even though it was a high bond. Now, these people revoked the bond after she went online and started posting all this stuff the next day. And let me just go over this real briefly about some of the previous year's charges. Okay. She was already awaiting trial on a first-degree domestic violence charge from earlier this year and a burglary charge from last year. Okay. In her domestic violence case, court records show Flannigan is accused of firing a gun into an occupied dwelling on January 3rd, wounding a woman in the foot. Charging documents describe the victim as a current or former parent. She was arrested on January 8th and released the same day on $15,000 bond. Amazing, right? Amazing. So she bonded out that time too. In March 2020, authorities contend Flannigan, while armed with a gun, broke into a home with the intent to commit theft. She was released from jail on $25,000 bond. In that incident, in December, the burglary case was forwarded to be heard by a grand jury for indictment consideration. So you can do all that and have all these previous charges and bond out, and then you can go kill somebody and bond out. Who are the judges and the people that are in charge of doing this that say that's okay, that you can do that to society and act out like that and it's okay? And at the same time, like we spoke about in a previous video, there's a lot of people fighting for this very thing, that people should have second, 3, 4, 5, 6 chances. But this person has had multiple chances, but there's people fighting for this type of thing. And you can do something like this, reckless like this, and you can come right out. Why do you think she came out this time, started laughing, cursing, doing all this thing, joking? She even lied to police, left the scene of a crime where somebody was killed and bonded out? And that's okay? Apparently it's okay. And the only reason they revoked it is because she went online and started doing all that disrespectful stuff, which they will use that against her. In the opinion of this court, Ross wrote in her order, the defendant is a threat to the community and has no regard for human life. Well, thank you, Judge, for just noticing that after all the previous incidences and leaving the scene where somebody was killed. You realize that after the fact. Thank you. Appreciate that. And that's it. Thank you guys for joining me. I just wanted to give an update with that story. And rest in peace to Brandy Ballard. And just kind of, I don't know, just reflect and look at that again, because that could be anybody. That could happen to anybody. Completely senseless. Now, things that I have upcoming. I had a live stream that I was going to do today, but I postponed it because it was on a missing person. but supposedly there's supposed to be information coming out today in like a conference or something, and so I'm holding out for that. Maybe tomorrow. I don't think I'll do it late tonight, because I think probably tomorrow maybe we'll do that. And yeah, appreciate all the support. Please hit like, turn on the bell with all notifications. Take care of yourselves, and peace.